Scorpio.
Hello, Scorpio. Happy New Year 2017. And here we go. We're going to be looking at what we can expect throughout this entire year. We're going to be looking at the retrogrades of what we will be encountering. And what I typically really like to do when I look at a full year like this is to follow the cycle of Mars, as Mars is what puts us towards our dynamic goals and achievements, right? So we're going to do that. I would have wanted to do this on camera, but I am shifting out my camera gear, so I will be back online for January with the new equipment, right? So let's take a look at how we're going to start off 2017. Mars, your old ruler, and Neptune, they're conjunct. So as with any new year, we set out our intentions for the entire year. This year, it's different. It is even more so potent and powerful because Mars is here with Neptune, which rules your hopes, your dreams, your spiritual self, your visions. And so we're so pumped here on top of the year, and the signature of this energy will linger throughout the entire year, even way after the aspect is over. So at least we get a great start on the year. Now, typically it takes 2 years for Mars to go around your chart once. Since there's no retrogrades of Mars here in 2017, it is going to zoom through 8.5 of your houses of your chart, 8 of the 12 areas. That puts us on the superhighway. Mars is going to be pinpointed specific for each and every sector of your chart. It's going to give you the full potential and support to achieve. So if we pay attention and work with Mars, we're that much better equipped to obtain our goals because, of course, sometimes we're working at other areas of our life where Mars is not present, and that is when we end up putting out exhausting all that energy, treading water, getting nowhere, and exhausting ourselves in the doing because we are not focusing on where Mars is at. This is why I love to pay attention to Mars, give you the dates. So do have your notepad and your pen out as we explore the periods of when Mars will help you obtain the best and the highest success of 2017. It starts out in your 5th house, which has to do with creativity, self-expression, your artistic higher self, but also children. It rules love and what we like to do when we take time off to have fun. So this is a great way for you to start off the year. They're both in the sign of Pisces, both Mars and Neptune rules Pisces. So he's pretty powerful here in and of himself. And Mars being in Pisces, well, that is your sister sign, right? So more power to you, Scorpio. Now, you can come to see that you're making some promises to yourself, to your children, of the things that you see in an ideal way. It's time to dream big. That's what Neptune does best. But make sure that they're realistic goals, and they don't all have to be acquired right here, right now. It's okay to make intentions for down the road, but make sure that they are realistic as you set off so the power is with you throughout the oncoming months. You'll have until January 29th here in this area for children and creativity and so forth. But then from January 29th to March 11th, Mars is going to help you, support you, bring you forward to really cut back on your daily routines, those things that no longer are applicable to you, that are just there kind of draining you from energy. So when we cut back on it, it allows us to work that much more efficiently when we get all our ducks in a row and we have what works, so that we have that beautiful support. But the 6th house also is your coworkers. It is the work that you do, not necessarily your career, which is different. Work is more how you work on your daily basis within your career and how you interact with your coworkers. This might be more so to the forefront here until March 11th, you will see that there is dynamic energy between you and them. And also when it comes to your health, this is the area of health where Mars is going to help you focus on it, whether it has to do with dieting or working out, one thing or another. From March 11th to April 22nd, this is when Mars moves into your relationship house. That means that your partner might be more powerful. You might feel more powerful. Your interaction will be more feisty and fiery, passionate, for better or worse. But you will be working to maximize and heighten, hopefully, your experience of your relationship. And if you are thinking ahead, you might want to just straighten out what can be straightened out prior to Mars going into this area, because if you're sweeping whatever issues that haven't really been dealt with, well, just know that these are going to surface. And then when Mars is present, it can become a little bit more feistier than what you had intended. So if you work it prior to March 11th, then you can come through this period in coming out the other end in one piece, and hopefully now having gained even more power to the both of you in a beautiful way. Now, April 22nd through June 5th, we're looking at shared resources. Again, this could be between you and your partner if you have one. If you don't, it could be any partners that you work closely with one-on-one, whether in if it's a joint business. This will be now discussed. Mars is going to focus on improving this area in wanting to get ahead and rise up above. It could be royalties, commissions. It could also be investments, investment payouts. It could be inheritances, all those kind of things here that the eighth house does represent. However, it's also the house of Scorpio, which is emotional and it's a psychic energy. So you can come to feel that you're bonded deeper here with your partner at this time. Really diving into the core and the essence of who you are in your togetherness. So that could be a beautiful time. And remember, Mars is your ancient ruler, so more power to it, and it is in the house that you rule. So coming into June 5th, your ninth house, long distance travel. If you're thinking of having a longer vacation here in 2017, this would be the time to do it between June 5th and July 21st, while Mars is cruising the ninth house and in the sign of Cancer. This is a time where you're wanting to nurture, be nurtured, get off to some unexplored area. It's a very adventurous time, which the ninth house is because it's ruled by Sagittarius that really wants to have new experiences. Beautiful time for you to get out and about. I feel that you deserve it, and should you leave within this period, what a wonderful way to go, Scorpio. July 21st to September 9th, now you have already built up all that energy from preparing yourself. They're in the ninth house, vacationing, taking time out. Ninth house is also good for research. If you're thinking of any career change of 2017, this is what's coming up now. All right, July 21st to September 9th, Mars is going to support you in climbing up the ladder. This is definitely a time you want to have interaction with your supervisors, your superiors, and if you're hoping for a promotion, this would be the best time of 2017 to get one. I would also say, it's time for you to speak your highest truth and what it is, not only what you feel you deserve after all the hard work in previous months or years, but also to express where you see yourself down the road. Because if you're not expressing that to your supervisors, how do they know what you're ready for, right? But this is the best time for the next 2 years for you to go and get what it is you desire. After that, we have Mars now going into your social area of your chart, where I see you being out and about, catching up with friends, groups, organizations, pretty much being a magnet too, here, Scorpio, of attracting new people into your life. And they will also be more Marsy, meaning that they could be supportive of the things that you believe in, the goals that you're wanting to do. This is the area of networks, social networks. So here you can come to see how this can enhance your experience if you use it correctly. Maybe Mars will give you more support to go in and explore how it can work for you. Then we have from October 23rd to December 10th. Mars is going to need to have a little break. It takes 2 years, like I said, around the chart once, right? And so whenever it gets to the 12th house, that's when it likes to pull back just a little bit so it can think, in its own mind and also reflect where it's been, what it has achieved over the last 2 years. And so it's a download period. It's a time for you to actually just quiet your inner self, go to the spa, get a massage, do yoga. Meditation is great. This is the spiritual house of renewal. And you might even be dreaming. That is what the 12th house is really good about doing, visualizing where it is now that Mars wants to focus when it crosses your ascendants for its new 2-year journey. And so, but you may be working quietly behind the scenes, not really expressing a whole lot of it out to the world. What the world will see is that you're pretty much pulled back, right? And then that will come out and really express itself, and the world will come to see what you've been thinking and what you have been preparing, because as Mars gets into your first house, which is into the sign of Scorpio, you're going to be not just recharged, but you're going to be feisty, fit to fight, ready to go. And I see that there's a lot of energy that's going to be taking out here. This is from December 10th and straight throughout the rest of 2017. So, listen, now you know where Mars is going to support you. Keep your notes there or come back down the road and re-listen when you need to have a little reminder. But we're going to talk about the retrogrades and where they're going to be here this year. The first retrograde, besides the one that we're already in as the new year starts, will be April 10th to May 4th. This happens in the sign of Taurus, which for you is going to give you extended time here in the area of your relationships. All right. So for 3.5 weeks there, you will be working back over what works for you, what needs to be perhaps tweaked or redone, revisit maybe certain scenarios of the past. And this Mercury will also dip back into your 6th house for health and your day-to-day routines, your coworkers, trying to organize, strategize those things. So here you can find maybe that there could be a little delay or slowdown of sorts. It will retrograde all the way back to 24 degrees there, Aries of your 6th house, before it turns around again. Now, August 13th through September 5th, Mercury's retrograde will be in your 11th house for hopes, dreams, wishes, but also your social circles. This will give extended time for you to look at how things have been working for you in this area earlier throughout the year and go in and make whatever repairs or especially if there's something that has come to the surface between you and some acquaintance. There might be issues there that can be held up or also discussed or even improved upon. I always like to see that these retrogrades are all about helping us improve. This is why they're giving us extra time so a certain matter or a certain issue can be brought to focus, because when the planets are going direct, we just hammer down that road. And then, there's a lot that we don't really pay attention to. But when things get a little miffled, and we get stuck in that matrix, it really brings things to the forefront, So sometimes frustration can be a good aid, right? So December 3rd through December 23rd is the last of Mercury's retrograde. It will take place in your 2nd house for money and income. This would be a time to look over what works, what doesn't work. It's definitely going to allow you to crunch some numbers. And so for you, Saturn is already there. It has been working its structure And of course, speaking of Saturn, Saturn will change signs here around the same period. In fact, on December 21st, Saturn will move out of your financial area and into the third house of communication, short distance travel, and siblings and so forth. That's where Saturn's going to be working for the next 2.5 years. So when Mercury goes retrograde right now, here towards the end of the year, just be sure to do all your Christmas shopping. Try to get it done in November because we can end up with funky presents which will fall apart or whatnot and need to be returned. We all know how that works, right? So, yeah. Let's move on to Venus. Venus's retrograde will be March 4th through April 15th. So listen, girls, but you guys as well. I would say anything that has to do with cosmetic surgery. This also includes piercings and tattoos. I would stay away from it because Venus rules beauty, right? And we want Venus to be strong when we're trying to improve on our appearances. That also goes for any kind of new hairstyle or shopping for wardrobes. Wait till after April 15th. And when it comes to love and matters of the heart, this too will bring everything to the forefront. March 4th, April 15th. As I mentioned earlier, Mars has no retrogrades this year, so Mars is just going to be charging and forging forward. But let's speak about Jupiter. Jupiter is what expands everything it touches upon. So February 6th to June 10th, it will be retrograding in your 12th house for more your subconsciousness, your spirituality. You might feel here that you're more apt to be dreaming or wanting to have a little bit more time in seclusion, to pull back and be in your own head. Great time to do so. Wonderful time for you to catch up with yoga and meditation and so forth. When it's retrograde, it's actually a very good planet here, even when it's retrograde. So I don't think you're going to have any complications with this one. Saturn will retrograde from April 6th through August 26th. This is your financial house, Scorpio. And so here you might just feel that there could be, I won't say shortcomings, but it might just be a little harder to pull the engines, keep them going. That could be due to maybe delays in payouts or bonuses or commissions if you live on commissions and so forth. Saturn is karma, and it's also the taskmaster. Saturn does always want to be supportive to help us grow. And right now it's focusing on your income area. And sometimes due to shortages or also delays, it really brings it to the forefront so that we can think, what can I do to improve this? And it's only through need that new chapters can grow from it. So in that sense, in a higher sense, it's a blessing. Might be a little frustrating while it's hanging over us, right? But in the long run, you'll see what Saturn is trying to do for you. You're changing, shifting gears. Uranus, which is the planet of change, all the unexpected. There might have been a lot of changes going on with your coworkers or the way you interact with them. Some might have been coming, others been leaving. It's also the area of your health. Uranus is going to be retrograding from August 3rd. There are 13 degrees in Aries, and it will retrograde out the rest of the year. So we will come to see here that for you, whatever changes you're wanting to do, it's good to do so here before we get into August so that there will be less of a hiccup once it gets there. Neptune, it retrogrades from June 16th, Scorpio, straight through November 23rd. It will retrograde in the sign of Pisces in your 5th house for children, self-expression and creativity, but also romance. So when Neptune goes to sleep like this, it will just, sometimes we don't even notice it because it's such a subtle energy. It's more that spiritual, inner, higher self, contemplation and so forth. But you might just feel here that this is going to be a gentle time for you. It is in the sign of Pisces, which is your sister sign. So, yeah, just make sure that you take a little time off for yourself. This is where you regenerate, Scorpio. The last planet that we are going to bring up is Pluto, and Pluto will retrograde April 4th through September 29th. Pluto is the power of transformation, and currently in your third house, well, that is where everything has been transforming for you over these last few years. Pluto takes a long time to transit a house. It's currently only there at 16 degrees. Actually, it will be retrograding when it reaches 19 degrees and go back to 16 degrees where it is on top of the year. So when it is retrograde, well, you're looking at what you have achieved thus far, embracing the things that have really worked for you. You've seen now, Scorpio, just how much you have grown over here in the past, and now it's more like looking at what else can change up, where you can empower yourself, your personality, your ability to speak, stand in front of groups, that kind of thing. So we have that, and then just to reiterate, it is a year where we're feeling we're on the on march. Mars, your ancient ruler, is with you. Now you know when he is going to show up and in which areas he's going to be supporting you. And then, of course, I'd just like to say there is going to be a couple of minor eclipses in 2017 that we'll talk more about when we get there. But there's one, a total solar eclipse, which I do want to mention because there's already a little bit buzz about it at this time, and that is the total solar eclipse of August 21st. They're always very amazing to watch. People can travel to other parts of the world just to be able to view them. Now, this total solar eclipse is going to be viewed and seen from North America, so I think this is why there's already a big buzz. We'll talk more about it when we get closer and what you can come to expect here as far as the astrological influence upon you and your sign when we get closer. So listen, Scorpio, I wish you a very happy new year. Thank you for all the comments, the likes, and the sharings through 2016. I hope you will have a beautiful and very prosperous 2017. And I'll see you now in your January